Alrighty. Ladies and gentlemen, how are we doing? Well, probably mostly gentlemen, considering we're talking about premature ejaculation today. So, I'm doing this live stream to promote my brand new book, Preventing Premature Ejaculation, but I thought I'd also spend this time to kind of go over some of the insights that I cover in this book, give those to you guys for free so you can get a taste of exactly what I cover in my brand new ebook, Preventing Premature Ejaculation. The link's down in the description below. And the link is in the chat right now. And the link in the chat right now is the 50% discount link. And that is only available until Sunday. I'm going to say that right now. If you watch this live stream in a week's time, that link will have expired. So make sure you better watch this video before Sunday, because then you'll get this juicy 50% discount. But let's talk about premature ejaculation, fellas, because this is something that I have been getting questions about for quite a long time. Obviously, I've been coaching men through various bedroom issues for the last few years, thousands of clients, and premature ejaculation is this interesting problem for me to solve, because it's something that I have had to kind of reverse engineer. I've had to reverse engineer the way that I trained my body to never, ever have that problem. So I've had to go back through my life, through the different things I did as an adolescent, as a teenager, the different physical habits I was doing, the different mental habits I have while I'm in the bedroom, and systematically kind of reverse engineer that and break it down so that I could have turned that into a system that is repeatable for you guys. Now, premature ejaculation is actually a pretty common problem among dudes. I mean, most dudes will have at least one experience of premature ejaculation in their life at some point, if they don't actually suffer from it as a kind of permanent, regular problem. But I think it's important for us to start off with some of the myths around premature ejaculation. Well, actually, let's start by actually defining it, because when you start looking, and in my research in writing this book, I've been diving into a lot of different journal articles and seeing the literature out there, seeing what has been researched and studied on this. And the problem with coming at the definition of premature ejaculation from like a scientific standpoint, you have to kind of define it. They tend to try to define it in like a time span, right? Like it's under X a number of minutes is defined as premature ejaculation. Well, that doesn't do you much good, honestly, as a dude. Like, you're not going to sit there, like, having sex with watching the clock. Like, oh, okay, now it's like 3 minutes and 1 second. Now I can bust. Like, and now I'm not premature ejaculating. It doesn't work like that. Sex is more fluid. Sex is different every time you have sex. Like, the length of sex varies depending upon what mood you and your partner are in, right? So the practical definition that we're going with for premature ejaculation is simply ejaculating before you want to. That's it. It's as simple of a definition as we need. It's the only definition we need, because the whole point of getting over this problem is giving you the tools to ejaculate whenever the hell you actually want to. You know, you're not sitting there constantly trying to fight the urge to ejaculate. You have the free reign to pop whenever the hell you want to. And that is ultimately what we're looking for. That's the control aspect of your body that you're actually looking to get out of this. So, but let's go over some of the myths surrounding premature ejaculation, because I think it's important that we just dispel some of these myths like out the gate, because otherwise there's going to be a lot of dudes, floating around who might think that this is a incurable problem for them, or might think they're in a unique situation. Right? First of all, let's jump in the chat real quick. Homie Clicks, good to see you, my friend. Bruce Clown, Moolah Mike Motion. Tristan, good to see you. Oh, thank you, my friend. I'd like to thank you for all the content you've posted. You and Mr. Wall have taught me so much and changed my life for the better. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that, man. It's always great hearing that. Holy Man has the opposite problem. That's actually more and more common these days, my friend, with delayed. That's called a delayed ejaculation. That's very, very common with guys who excessively watch porn. So if you have that problem, the very, very first thing I'll tell you to do is stop jerking off to porn. Okay, let's keep going. Samuel Moore, good to see you, my friend. Time for it, my boys. Good point, emoji. Human males and animals who try not to ejaculate. Okay, that's actually a very good point. I'm glad you mentioned that, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about that. So, like, yeah, amongst all the mammals, right? Amongst all the great apes, right? You know, chimpanzees, bonobos, gorillas, etc. Right? We last the longest. We have the longest, most prolific sexcapades of all of them, right? They're all, like this man just said, they're all just trying to bust it out as quickly as they possibly can. And you think about that, like, okay, well, why on earth would you be evolved? Because every man has the capacity to last as long as he wants. You have the plumbing, you have the equipment necessary to last as long as you want in bed, right? You know, we're no different biologically from one another, men, right? So why would humans last long or be able to last long when apes don't feel the need to, right? I mean, obviously, when we're on in our early days of evolution, we're on the savannah, we're being hunted by lions and shit. Yeah, it's pretty important to bust them up quickly and move on. But humans make missionary position for the most part. Most mammals do it in different positions. I'm pretty sure most of them do it in doggy style, but somebody correct me if that is wrong. But there's numerous different theories as to why that's the case. One of them is that the female orgasm does take, on average, the female orgasm takes 15. So they take about 15 minutes typically to warm up. The average is, I'm talking about total across the board, population averages here, right? Obviously, you can get a woman to come quicker than that. Obviously, lots of women will come quicker than that naturally. But 15 minutes tends to be the 15, 20 minutes tends to be the sweet zone. After that much foreplay and warming up, then they're primed to be able to orgasm, right? And when a woman orgasms, she has these contractions in her cervix, which actually suck semen up into the baby-making parts, so she can be impregnated. Now, any of you have ever had that experience before? I've had this experience before, where I've literally had a condom sucked off the tip of my dick because she was orgasming, and the cervix was sucking it up. Very, very interesting situation. When you pull your dick out of a woman and your condom's not there anymore, where the fuck did it magically disappear to? Had to go fish it out. Anyway, I digress. So any quick questions here before I move on? Thank you, Excellent Mindset. Really appreciate it. What a champ on behalf of. Thank you for the education. Much appreciate it. Very, very welcome. Great content, no fapping, only fucking. Yeah, that's the whole point here, Richard. Is it I want you guys to actually be able to enjoy sex. That's the whole point of learning to control your orgasm, learning to last as long as you want to. As long as you want to. Because you just get to have so much better sex. You get to have so much better sex for yourself. You get to experience so much more and indulge in so many different things. And she gets to have a better experience too. And together you can have a fantastic sex life. And you can't really have that if you're sitting there stressed out in your head, worrying about busting all the time, busting too quickly, self-conscious about it, unable to perform. These things fuck you up. So Let's see if we go. I think we've got with it. There's no real correct. Okay, cool. I'm glad you said that, Lone Star Rider, because I'm going to go through that. That's actually one of the first things I'm going to talk about. So let's talk about the myths. Okay, the myths of premature ejaculation, right? So the first general myth that guys sort of think is that premature ejaculation is like only a problem for younger, inexperienced guys. Yeah, sure. The more experience you have, the more likely you are going to learn to have control of your body. You're going to be less nervous, perhaps. You're going to have more experience with understanding your own body, your own sensations, where your limits are, where your point of no return is, right? Sure. Then it's going to be typically older guys find this a bit easier, but there are plenty of older men. And I know because I get emails about this all the time. There are plenty of older men who suffer from this problem. And they've suffered from this problem basically their whole life. And you know what's even weirder is that sometimes dudes don't have this problem at all, and then they get with one particular partner, and all of a sudden it's a problem. And it's this weird thing where they're trying to they create this. They put all these expectations on themselves, and then they fail to deliver upon those expectations, and it creates this weird negative cycle, this weird negative feedback loop where they're performing worse because they want to perform better, ironically. But premature ejaculation isn't just for younger, inexperienced guys, although it does tend to be more of a problem for younger dudes when they're first like learning this stuff. I know plenty of older dudes who've messaged me about this problem as well. So the first thing I'll say is that, you know, if you're an older guy and you have this problem, it is fixable, right? It's totally fixable. And obviously, if you're a younger guy, it's completely fixable too. The second myth I'll talk about here is this idea of like premature ejaculation isn't caused by like hypersensitivity. It's not caused by too many nerve endings in the dick, right? We've all got roughly the same number of nerve endings in our penises. All men on the planet. There's not that much variation there. So it's nothing. It's got nothing to do with hypersensitivity, and that's been scientifically proven, by the way. It's got absolutely nothing to do with you being hypersensitive. Yes, there's going to be slight differences in your sensitivity if you're like circumcised versus uncircumcised, but above all in all, it's got nothing to do with having a quote-unquote hypersensitive penis. It's not what's causing you to prematurely ejaculate. Numbing creams, like this guy just asked in the chat, numbing creams and thick condoms is the stupidest fucking idea I have ever heard about preventing premature ejaculation. You know why we don't use them? Here's the reason why we don't use them in the porn industry, by the way. And actually, sometimes here's a funny story with this too. Sometimes, like new female performers, if they're doing anal scenes, sometimes they will use, if they're doing first time doing like a butt scene, right? She will use like some kind of numbing cream on her own butt to make it easier for her, and that ends up rubbing off onto the dude, and the dude can't feel his dick anymore, and he's like, the fuck? And he's like, why am I not getting any sensation here? And he starts to lose his boner because she's just put numbing cream on her butt. The same principle is applying right here. Why do I not recommend numbing creams? Well, if I'm using a numbing cream on my penis, and I'm putting that penis into her vagina, it's gonna numb her vagina and her clitoris, and she ain't gonna feel shit. So I'm no better of a lover. It didn't fix the problem. The problem with prematurely ejaculating is that it makes you a shit lover. Like, okay, she can't get off. I bust my nut early. Like, she's not having any fun, and really neither are you. If it's stressing you out, and it's something you want to prolong, right? So the whole problem is that she ain't getting off. So why would I use a numbing cream? If I use a numbing cream, then she definitely ain't getting off. She ain't feeling shit. Same goes for thick condoms. Thick condoms aren't the solution to this problem. It's a band-aid. So it's an attempt at a band-aid solution. And thick condoms can get really chafy. You have to use extra lube. It makes it all messier. It's like, man, look, I'm not here to tell you to not use condoms. Just saying, if you're with a partner and you both practice safe sex, then you don't need to use condoms, right? You want to actually be able to enjoy the sexual experience to its fullest. numbing creams, terrible fucking idea. You can't. The other myth is that you can like think your way out of premature ejaculation. This is kind of true and kind of not true, right? Yes, there are mental tricks you can play to distract yourself, to allow yourself to last longer. And I go into that in my book. And yes, there are mental training habits you can use to kind of retrain your brain. And I also go into that in the book. But the problem is this idea of like resistance. Because what is the thought pattern that tends to happen when a dude's prematurely ejaculating? It's on the way to prematurely ejaculating. It's probably something like, I know this because I have guys talk to me about this. It's like, oh man, that feels really good. Oh shit, I'm getting close to coming. Oh shit, I just came. It's like boom, 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 boom. Like they and then the thought, there's like one or two thoughts that might pop in between there is like, oh, I really hope I don't come soon. I really hope I don't come too quickly. Oh shit, I hope I don't come. I hope I don't come. And then bang, the guy busts. And it's like, there's this idea in meditation, this idea of resistance. That which you persist, sorry, I said that wrong. That which you resist persists. This idea of what you try to resist with your mind will stick around and give it more strength because you're focusing on it. That's why. Like this idea of, if you've ever been, if you've ever had like an insecurity or a hang up or some kind of anxiety around something or nerves around something, what you've probably found is that the more you think about that and the more you try to get that out of your head, the more energy and focus you give it and the more power it has over you. So the ironic thing here is that you have to learn to kind of go with the flow of your thoughts rather than fighting against them. Because your thoughts aren't you. That's a very, very important thing to understand. Your thoughts are not you. There's a moment in time between, I'm kind of going off on a bit of a tangent here, but still important to know. There's a moment in time between like getting an external stimulus and there's a split second before like an emotion or a thought comes out. And that split second is actually decided, like there's a moment where you, the human being, gets to decide how you're going to interpret that external stimulus and then what emotion you're going to generate from that. Every emotion you actually produce is entirely a choice. Most of the time, it's not a conscious choice. It's an unconscious, habitual choice. It's just you're going on your default programming. You're doing what you normally do. But every single emotion you feel is 100% a choice. It's important to understand that. External stimulus comes in, you have a choice how you're going to interpret that and then decide upon the emotion you're going to feel afterwards. And I go into that in detail in this book too. But by the way, because you're tuning in live, 50% off discount link in the chat right now. Go check it out. That is available until Sunday. Sunday, it stops. So midnight, Saturday night, if you don't click that link before then, you don't get the discount. Simple as that. I'm only doing that because it's the launch week and I'm a generous motherfucker. So you're very welcome. Let's go over one more myth. This idea that, and this will help a lot of you guys too, because the idea that long-lasting sex is the only good sex there is absolutely not true. Quickies can be a hell of a lot of fucking fun. That passionate spur of the moment, bending her over in an alleyway, bending her over on the kitchen sink, where the fuck, like in the back of my car, like these kind of quickie, passionate sexual moments, fantastic, really erotic, really exciting for both of you, really enjoyable just because of the adventurous side of it. Okay, so there is a time and a place for quick sex, right? However, so in saying that, don't think that you can never, ever, ever have good sex if it's like short. This is why I don't like the idea of defining premature ejaculation by like a number of minutes. It's ejaculating when you don't want to, basically. That's a far more useful, practical definition of this, right? So, long-lasting sex allows you to indulge and engage in so much more and get so much more out of the sexual experience. But it's by no means the only time you can possibly have good sex. You can have fantastic sex and it can be short, and you can have fantastic sex and it can be long. So that mentality is going to help a lot of you guys to even get over the anxiety you have around premature ejaculation to start with. So I think that's important for you guys to sort of embed in your head. Now, why do some guys last longer than other guys? Why do some guys have no problem with this whatsoever, while other dudes just are constantly racked with this as a lifelong problem? They can never seem to get over it. They're trying things like numbing creams. They're trying things like thick condoms. They're trying all different tips and tricks. And it comes down to really three things, right? It comes down to the pelvic floor. It comes down to your mental state, and it comes down to how you've conditioned yourself. That's basically it. And I lay out exactly what those three different optimal states are in my new book. And I give you exact prescriptions, basic homework that you can do in each of these different areas to go home and condition yourself. Within about 4 weeks, you should be fixed, right as rain. Like, just follow the homework I lay out in this book. If you just do that, simple as doing that, you'll fix this problem in a matter of 4 weeks. It's not that difficult. Because like I said, every single guy has the necessary plumbing, has the necessary, physical equipment to last as long as he wants to in the bedroom. It's just certain things in your life, particularly probably when you were a teenager, when you first started having sexual thoughts, first started masturbating, first started touching your pee-pee, or first started having sex. These habits you've ingrained in your body, in your pelvic floor, in your mental state during sex have led to the state you're in now. Okay? So all we have to do is recondition all that stuff. And then we're back to square one, right? But it takes time because habits that we ingrain when we're younger tend to be a lot harder to peel back and undo. It's like I heard a really good analogy yesterday, and it was like imagine a ski slope, and imagine a fresh ski slope. That's kind of what your mind is like when you're a child. It's like fresh powder, and then people start going down the slope, cool, and they start creating little paths, right, ingraining into the snow, and then as the years go on, eventually those are really the paths that have been gone down before are kind of the only places you can go because it's gone so deep into the snow. Right? And that's kind of how your brain works and your body, like conditioned habits, work. Is that eventually these things have been embedded in you for so long that they become habit, and you have to start from the very, very beginning to consciously create a completely new path for your mind to follow. And that's what we try to do with this book, with all the little solutions I have in here. So there's kind of two places I break these solutions down into in this book. I talk about long-term solutions, these three different areas we just talked about, and that's the most important part, the long-term preventative solutions that you can apply to completely fix this problem from your life entirely. And then I talk about the short-term solutions that you can apply immediately in the bedroom tonight. These are kind of more biohacks. These are little tips and tricks and tools of the trade that we use in porn. And, I've used with success if I'm a bit too excited during a scene, which doesn't really happen that often, but you've got them in your toolbox, just in case you need to whip them out here and there. And those are the quick fixes that you can apply immediately. But they're not what I want you to focus on when you guys read this book. I want you to focus on the long-term stuff, because that's what's going to completely get rid of this problem from your life entirely, right? That's the more important stuff. I know guys want a quick fix. I know guys want a magic pill. But any meaningful change and any meaningful improvement in your life is not going to be a magic pill. It's not going to be a quick fix. It's going to be something you have to work at if you actually want to see improvement. You don't build muscles by going to the gym once. You don't learn a language by reading, by studying a few phrases once or saying it once. You don't learn how to ride a bike by getting on it once. You have to actually consistently work on this stuff. So that's where we're at with that. One more time, I'm going to drop that. The link I just dropped in the chat is the 50% off discount link that is only available until Sunday. I'll reiterate that again. If you watch this live stream on Sunday, you're out of luck. That link will be deleted. That code will be gone. So if you go to my Gumroad page, you'll see you can type in the word launch onto that Premature Ejaculation book and you'll get it 50% off. So that's only available until Sunday. Don't come crying to me, complaining to me if you miss it out, because I like to reward people who are actually engaged with my content. If you're on my email list, you've already received this link. You've already received this email. We're offering you 50% off this book. And if you're an avid watcher of my channel, you're tuning in right now. There's about 200 of you in the live chat right now. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you watch this over the next 3-4 days, then you'll get a chance to get this. So I like rewarding people who are active with my content. This is exactly why you get this discount. So after that, price doubles, and don't come crying to me about it. All right. Let's go back through this chat, see if there's any cool questions I might want to pick up on. Oh, got a super chat here from Sterling. What are some positions where a woman can watch you go in and out of the pee sleeve? Well, missionary. Like, just elevate a little bit. Don't man blanket her. Don't lay flat on her. Like, create a little bit of space and go in missionary position, and she can tilt her head forward and watch it, right? Simple. In fact, that's something I actually like to do a lot of the time. I like to tell them to watch it, right? Instructions, giving her a command like that. Super hot. They love it. So that's also a really, really cool thing. You can do that. You can do that in reverse cowgirl. If she's leaning back on you, you can make her look down as well. Super easy. I mean, that one's not as easy. It takes a little bit of bit more athleticism than just doing it in missionary. But those are two basic ones. Darius, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Much appreciated, my man. Always good seeing you guys support the channel. Obviously, I don't do these live streams as much, but it's something I'm going to be dabbling in spontaneously as it fits my schedule. Like this, I'll be a 2-minute brother for a $2 hoe. Oh, I love it. Yeah, this is important, Shiraz. He says, it depends on the girl. I made a girl climax 3 times in 20 minutes. Another one I couldn't, and another I couldn't wait to be done. The girl you're with is really important. It does. It matters. The chemistry between the two, super, super important. Look, man, here's the thing. One of the biggest insights I had from working in porn so long was you're just not going to have chemistry with every girl. You really aren't. It's no matter how beautiful she is, no matter how good looking you are, even then, sometimes you just don't get along. Sometimes the pussy just feels like trash. It really does. Like maybe it's something to do with like the shape of the vagina that makes a certain woman feel really good and other women's vaginas don't feel really good or whatever. You make one come easy, make another one not come as easy. But man, it's a lot of it is up here in the brain. A lot of it is how much can she relax? How much is she into the moment? Like how much chemistry is there? How aroused is she by you? Like how much do you turn her on? How much are you leading her and taking her down that trip in her mind where you're not controlling her thoughts, but guiding her thoughts, guiding her focus. Super important. Like I said, like telling her what to do, telling her like to watch it, going in and out of it, getting her to engage with that stuff. These are all little things that can help, but if there's no chemistry, man, there's no chemistry. So, and you shouldn't beat yourself up over it, guy. And I think that's why it's important to have options. And as a guy, I think it's super important for guys to have options and to go out there and rack up some experience, man. It doesn't fuck you up. It doesn't screw with you like it'll screw with a woman. If a woman has like ton of bodies, it's gonna play havoc with her, and it's gonna make her, less of a viable option later on. But it doesn't do that for you. So I know there's gonna be a lot of like conservatives out there who will probably disagree with that statement, but it's my experience, and it's not just my experience, it's the experience of a bunch of my friends as well. So. I see a lot of people who are talking about like Cialis and Viagra. That has nothing to do with premature ejaculation. Like, if it's worked for you, good for you, but I guarantee you that's entirely placebo effect, my friend. Because it has nothing, Viagra, Viagra, all this stuff has nothing to do with like your sensitivity. It makes your blood, it increases the blood flow, right? It should make you come faster, if anything. But I think you guys are diving into like the realms of placebo effect with promoting like Viagra and Cialis and that kind of crap. For this particular problem, it doesn't do that. It doesn't like magically make your dick not ejaculate. I don't know where you guys are getting this idea from. See what I'm talking about, lifestyle? I got some head with the delay spray, and the chick couldn't feel her mouth. See, like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's the stupidest fucking idea I've ever heard. Oh god. Yeah, exactly. Think condoms. What's the point of sex? Exactly. I think from $10 for selling. What arouses a woman more during intimacy, i.e., dirty talk, variety of positions, toys? I'd say dirty talk. Out of those things, like, well, the top two would be dirty talk and physical dominance. Like physical, like showing physical strength, controlling her physically, like pinning her hands, moving her around, throwing her onto the bed, like in a passionate, romantic way. All these things demonstrate that kind of dominant, aggressive side. That's super arousing to a woman. And then the other side of that, so that's the physical, and then the mental is the shit you whisper in her ear, the shit you tell her to do, tell her to say. Right? Those are the super, super arousing things. They get the waterworks going. I don't know what this currency is. PLN. No idea what that is. But thank you very much for all the same. You mentioned paying for coaches some time ago. Yeah, guys, I get a lot of requests for one-on-one coaching. My rate is probably too expensive for most of you. It's $2,000 an hour. So that's why I release a lot more. I basically, with all my books, man, like this is why I do my books, is because I break down like all the coaching stuff. All the diagnoses and like prescriptions I would give you, not medical prescriptions, but like actions to take to fix these problems, I put in my books. That's the whole point, right? So you could pay to sit on a call with me for an hour and get the exact same advice, or just get the book. I'm gonna fix your problem that way. Just read the damn thing and do what I tell you to do, and you'll get the same solution. So it's like, okay, like I know and I know you guys might want to talk to me about dating and relationships, things like that, which is fine. But yeah, it's my time is a bit more valuable these days than it was when I first started out. So unfortunately, it's harder for me to make time for it. So I just have to guard my time that way. But I really appreciate it. I want to try and help as many of you guys as I can. And that's why I keep pumping out products like this to try and explain like what I know up here and put it in your head. Brisk clown. One of the worst experiences you have is bursting as soon as you go in a woman. Honest to God, I've never had that experience. Not my entire life. I've never had that. So I can imagine what it would like. But yeah, honest to God, I've never had that experience. I have had experiences where I've really gotten into the sex, and then I'm like, oh shit. I'm aware that I'm getting too close. I'm aware that, but that's another big point. I'll talk about this in the book. Is the point of knowing your own point of no return. So the point of no return is where like any more physical stimulation to your penis will cause you to ejaculate, and there's no turning back. You can't stop it. Right? That's the point of no return. You need to be able to identify that and become familiar with that, because otherwise otherwise you're going to have no control over yourself. You're not even going to. You can't even see it coming. See it coming. Get it? Pardon me. But that's a big one. That's very true. I think staying in the moment is very important for the guy. Absolutely, and getting her into the moment is super important too. The burden of performance is always on the guy. Absolutely true. You can't. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes about it. Welcome to being a man. That's our life. Deal with it. Like it's. I know it. I know. A lot of guys kind of. I see a lot of guys complaining and whinging about this in the comments, and it's like, well, if you don't want to compete, fine. It makes my life easier. There's one less person for me to compete against, really. I look at it that way, right? For every guy who's like, oh, this is too hard, I can't be bothered, putting all the work in. Well, that's one guy that all the rest of us don't have to fucking worry about, because there ain't any competition at all. You ain't even trying. It's like, that's the life we live, man. Think about it this way, right? Would you rather? Because I know a lot of we're going off tangent here, but fuck it. I've plugged my book. Link in the chat again. One more time, bang. Get it before Sunday. You get a half price. But there's a lot of guys in this space who sort of sit there and bemoan and complain that they have to do all this work because they're a man. Oh, it's so easy to be a woman. Here's the thing, man. I'm fucking happy I'm a man. I am so goddamn happy that I'm a man. Here's your life as a woman. You get the world handed to you on a platter from the ages of like 17 to like 25. And then you're fucked. That's basically it. Then you just go downhill and you can do very little about it. You can maybe hold on for like 4 or 5 more years, right? If you hit the gym all the time, eat really well, maybe get some plastic surgery, like make up some point, you dress really like you could focus on just your entire being is judged purely on your looks, which you don't like her face and like your general figure and your genetics, and you have no control over. Fuck that. I'd much rather have control over my life and be able to dictate, like create a life for myself. Like, okay, I can hit the gym, I can make money, I can learn to network, I can learn to socialize, I can learn to build my value as a man. It's something it takes longer, but I built it. I have a sense of pride around it. So I have self-esteem, which is based in reality, based in something I've accomplished, based in me. Okay, I have to do more work than a woman does, but it's also a fucking more enjoyable life, really. Like and it goes forever. Like I don't have an expiry date. Like I can have kids till the day I die. That ain't a problem. I can keep making money till the day I die. I can keep having all. You better bet I'm going to be fucking when I'm in my 60s. I am going to be slaying some pussy when I'm an old man, because fuck it, I can do it. Like, why wouldn't I? But if you're a woman, man, someone told me this really, really depressing story 2 days ago. So I'm going to tell it to you guys. I like these live streams. Someone told me this super depressing story about like air hostesses. But back in like this, I think it was some kind of policy of the American Airlines in like the 70s or something, that you weren't allowed to be hired as an airline stewardess if you were married or even had a boyfriend. Like if you had a relationship at all, they wouldn't hire the woman. So a whole bunch of these women ended up signing up to become stewardesses. They had to remain single for like a decade or whatever, and then the kind of law passed away. But they used up their prime years, and so now this is why you've got all these like super old stewardesses on some of these American airlines, like 60, 70-year-old women, 50, 60, 70-year-old women who are grumpy Karens because they have no family, they have no life. The airline is their life. They gave it all away to the airline for this promise of like a career and stuff. And they passed on their prime years for locking down a dude. And it's like, well, and now they're lonely. It's like, fuck that. That would be horrible. Like, so every day you should wake up and thank God that you are a fucking man, because being a man is awesome. So here's my answer to that question. I thought we had another super chat up here somewhere. I remember seeing it. Maybe it's down here somewhere. Daryl says, love what you're doing, man. Thank you very much, Daryl. Really appreciate it. Thomas, here we go. 20 Canadian. Thank you, Thomas. Is there a way to train your body to quickly recover after ejaculating so you can immediately go for round 2? Good question. So, there's a couple of different things you can do. So it's more about training. Yeah, it's absolutely about training your body, and it's also a lot about training your mind. And it's got to do with this chemical called prolactin. So prolactin is what your brain what your brain secretes after you ejaculate. So your brain just gets dumped with prolactin, right? And there's an inverse relationship in your brain between dopamine and prolactin. So when one is high, one is low. When one is low, one is high. So it goes up like that, right? Prolactin and dopamine switching up like that. What happens is prolactin is the chemical that actually causes the male refractory period. The refractory period is the delay between orgasms. Okay, like that's a recharge time that a dude needs before he can get aroused again and have sex again. That's called the refractory period, and it's entirely dictated by this chemical dump in your brain of prolactin. Now, what they find is that dudes who are naturally multi-orgasmic they basically get none when they orgasm. So just they've done studies on this, and they've looked at like his blood levels before and after ejaculation. There's like no prolactin, and the dude is like, he just busts and he's like, all right, I can do it again. Let's go, like straight away. That's a naturally multi-orgasmic man. So you can actually train. There's actually less about training your body. And there's a couple of different ways around this. I do talk about this in my How I Grew My Penis and Other Porn Industry Secrets ebook. That links down in the description below. But there are actually a few different supplements you can take, basic herbal ones, that can reduce the amount of prolactin in your brain and thus shorten your refractory period significantly. So that is the answer to that question. Thank you, Tom. It's 50% off this one book this week because I'm launching this book this week. So, and I'm going to drop that and the links in the chat one more time. There you go. What's my body count? I know how many scenes I did. I have a rough idea. It was like, because before I got into porn, it was like a couple of hundred, and then I only shot something like 300, 400 scenes, like total. So and then since I've left porn, probably like outside of porn, like while I was shooting porn, and since I haven't really stopped shooting porn, probably like another 100 or so, probably something around there. Yeah. But I don't sit there with this. I kept a spreadsheet of all the scenes I did because it was like an income spreadsheet. Like, okay, I shot with this company, with this girl on this date, got paid this much, right? So I have a list of every scene I've ever shot. But I didn't create a spreadsheet for like my personal sex life. Yeah. Hey, this joke is going around. Have you seen the clown? If you guys, I wonder if any of you actually know what that joke's about, but it's a pretty funny one. It's the world's greatest joke, which was told to me by Tristan Tate. So it's hilarious. It's super immature. Don't know what that means. Not having a sex life means you don't have a premature ejaculation problem. That's very true. Okay. That's one way around it. Yep. What else we got here? See, there we go. That's better. I think a lot of dudes kind of get into this red pill space because they like, oh, it sucks to be a man, and they like, because you've been taught a fucking lie, like from childhood. You've been taught this lie of like the Western lie, like men and women are the same, treat each other same standards for both of us. It's fucking bullshit. It's complete bullshit. How to be a chad without fearing fake allegations? I've had fake allegations, man. I've had them. I'm actually going to film a video about that. I'm going to drop that in the next couple of months. I'm actually going to do an entire video on like fake allegations like that, because I've been through. How many have I had now? I think I've had 3 over the course of my life. Yeah, since I was like 21. I think that was when I got my first one. Was it 21? Yeah, I've had 3, and it's fucked up, man. It's really fucked up. But like you shouldn't walk. You can't live your life in fear, you know, because then these fucking feminist harpies win. So fuck them. Like, you can't. If you're a good man, you know you're not doing anything wrong, you know. So the biggest part, you have to basically cover your ass, and all of that has to do with like keeping, you know, screenshotting text messages and shit like that, saving them somewhere for just in case for later. Like, yeah, basic covering your ass shit. Yeah, it does suck though. But can't wait to read it. Grab a copy. Thank you very much, Madly Better. Much appreciated. Hope you enjoy it. Let's get it in kids. What else we got here? Condoms exist. How to not get affected by incel shaming and voter shaming? I mean, you shouldn't be affected by shaming at all. Like, you understand what it is. It's a manipulation tactic. So it's just, that's all they're trying to do. It's just people trying to manipulate you. So like, fuck them. Why would you listen to them? If you know someone is trying to, like, if you know someone has your worst interests, that they don't care about you. They want to manipulate you for their own selfish gains. They don't care about your well-being at all. Why the fuck are you listening to them? Like, why pay any weight to that shit? You just fucking block it out. I've seen the clown. Did porn actresses use drugs when shooting? Nope, none of them do. Except, well, they use weed. In California, they'll smoke some weed. A bunch of them will like have some THC, vape, or like smoke a joint or something before a scene. But there's no drugs on set. That's one of the biggest misconceptions about porn. It is not this fucking party. There's not drugs everywhere. Like, the dudes definitely aren't doing drugs because the dudes got to get the dick hard. They can't be sitting there doing lines of coke. The dick won't work. Like, this shit is just a myth. Maybe back in the day in like the 60s, maybe they were doing that. They sure as hell haven't been doing that shit for like 20 years. So. Thank you, Kazi. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. Twist balloon animals. All right, cool. Boogie Nights. Yeah, the whole Boogie Nights fucking thing. I mean, the Boogie Nights was a true story, but that ain't the way the industry works now. You know? Excellent. All right, guys. Look at those pits. Damn. That is all for today. Once more, bang. There's the link in the chat. Go check it out. Get it before Sunday. The 50% off discount ends on Sunday. So, like, the last chance you can use that link will be midnight on Saturday. So take advantage of that. Don't come whinging to me afterwards because you missed out. But thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys. Really appreciate everyone who tunes into this any of my live streams, everyone who jumps on my videos at the very beginning, everyone who leaves a comment, likes, subscribes, that kind of stuff. You guys, you guys make this worthwhile, helping it every single guy I can, because Lord knows we need to help each other out these days. So appreciate your support, and I'll see you guys next time.